it's Thursday, Throwback Thursday, and the 25th of March 2021. Yes. So, in keeping with the new tradition of having Thursday as throwback, please enjoy some clips that I have prepared. Meantime, I'm going to have a virtual meeting this afternoon. Our goal is to come up with a workable budget because we need specific amounts for each expenditures that will take our show into the platforms.
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll ride home every day, and I'll send all my loving to you. I'll pretend that I'm kissing the lips I am missing, and hope that my dreams will come true. And then while I'm away, I'll ride home every day, and I'll send all my loving to you. All my loving I will send to you. All my loving, darling, I'll be true.
Hello. Once again, this is yours truly, Clarissa, talaga for Lifestyle Lucena, and today is Thursday, the 2nd of July, 2009.
The bubble, Metro Manila Plus. We also have, I want to be able to take the opportunity of the current condition that we have outside of the bubble. So within Quezon, Batangas, we can move with relative ease with minimum to maximum health precautionary measures.
Like a gift from the heavens, it was easy to tell. It was love from above that could save me from hell. He had fire in his soul, it was easy to see how the devil himself could be pulled out of me. There were drums in the air as he started to dance. Every soul in the room keeping time with their hands, and we sing ayo, 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 ayo. And our voices bang like the angels sing. We're singing ayo, 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 ayo. And we danced on into the night. Ayo, 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 ayo. And we danced on into the night. Like a piece to the puzzle that folds into place. You could tell how we felt from the look on our faces. We were spinning in circles with the moon in our eyes. The room left them moving between you and I. We forgot where we were and we lost track of time. And we sang to the wind as we danced through the night. And we sing ayo, 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 ayo. And our voices bang like the angels sing. We're singing ayo, 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 ayo. And we danced on into the night. And we sing ayo, 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 ayo. And our voices bang like the angels sing. We're singing ayo, 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 ayo. And we danced on into the night. Ayo, 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 ayo. And we danced on into the night.
fashionable here. That's why through these CDs, I want to picture through my words. I want to picture the place that I call home through words because I am a writer. Ever since I can remember, I wanted to use words talaga, making stories. So if their medium is a canvas, ako naman po talagang pag nakakita ko ng blank na paper, I know that I just have to put some words there to leave an imprint, and that's me. Clarissa talaga.
So if I can just read the content of the letter that I have sent at the manager's office in Wealth Bank, Pacific Mall. Dear sir, the date was the 17th of December 2019, but I was able to send it uh, on the 21st of December, and I received the confirmation of receipt. So may I respectfully copy furnish your good office of the communication thread that will be received by the Department of Justice of the United States of America in connection to the finance and profession of the undersigned, a depositor in your bank. This is a courtesy call to the Philippine Justice Department in Padre Faura, which in turn will be sent to the U.S. Embassy Manila for the visa application and other legal matters involving the name and person of the undersigned. This courtesy notice is due to the fact that I have furnished the different government and private offices located in the Philippines and in the U.S. of my savings account opened and being maintained in your branch. Enclosed herewith is a copy of some of the documents that can facilitate due diligence and verification of Wealth Development Bank Board. Also enclosed is a duly accomplished waiver to open my bank account with respect to all pertinent Philippine laws in effect to respect the privacy and other rights of a Filipino citizen. This waiver is executed for reasons that I am not at liberty to disclose, which cannot be said of the expressed wish and intent of the blanket authorization to release all information that the bank holds regarding the undersigned should any formal request for it be made from here on. Sincerely, Clarissa M. Talaga, CEO, also known as Clarice, singer, songwriter, and novelist. So, copy furnished din po si Mr. Danilo A. Quinto, President and Chief Executive Officer, CEO. The office address recorded here is Taft Financial Center, Cardinal Rosales Avenue, Cebu Business Park. So, yun po. So, now I'm going to follow up with a number, and I've later found out that the name of the manager is Mr. Danilo R. Romero. He's the manager of Wealth Bank, Pacific Mall. So I'm going to call the number 795-3772. Hello, good morning. Can I speak with the manager, Mr. Danilo Romero?
Wala na po si Sir Danny dito. Sino po ito, ma'am?
Si Clarice Clarissa talaga, kasi nag-send ako ng letter, in-address ko sa manager. Sino kaya ang manager ngayon dyan?
Ako ma'am.
Ay.
Regarding saan niyo ma'am?
Ang letter ko was dated December 17.
Opo, yes ma'am.
Oo, tapos na-send ko siya on the 21st ng December. Kasi meron na akong schedule ng US Embassy interview. So I'm going to enumerate sa akin ang mga depository bank. Tapos kasama dito ang parang FYI lang na na kasama sa listing ng assets ko at saka depository bank, yung account ko sa Wealth Bank.
Opo. Yes ma'am. So, ang dito is, ina-FYI nyo na si Wealth Bank na
Yes.
ako baka sakali na mag-confirm si US Embassy regarding
Oo.
your account. Tama po ba?
Yes po. Tapos kasi meron po kaming show na gagawin. Some of the ticket proceeds po kasi ang pagbabayad sa akin ay bank-to-bank transaction.
Yes ma'am.
So, ang ibinibigay ko po na bank account ay ang account ko po sa Wealth Bank.
Yan po ay local show lang o ano?
Yes, local show po siya dito sa Lucena City, pero ang po naman, sponsorships at saka ticket selling namin, manggagaling po sa ibang region.
Okay.
O, mga friends of Clarissa po. Mama, ano nga pong name niyo ulit?
Charity po, charity ticket. Opo.
Charity ano po? Ma'am, hello?
Hello po. Ma'am, yes po.
Miguel.
Meron ka bang WhatsApp number para ako yung tumawag sa inyo, ma'am?
Meron po. Ano po ma'am? Ano po gusto niyo? Landline or cellphone?
Landline na lang po para mas malinaw kaya.
Sige po. Ang number ko po ay 322.
322.
Teka lang po. Hindi memorize. 322-9465.
9465.
Yes po.
Opo. Tapos ma'am, medyo malinaw na po ba? Iba po doon lang ma'am. Opo.
Opo. Yes po ma'am, malinaw naman po. Yun lang po, kino-confirm ko lang po yung parang pinakang buod po ng letter ko.
Opo. So, ang doon is parang binibigyan nyo kami ng right to divulge anything that they ask from your account.
Yes po. At saka po, na rin po, kung halimbawa meron ako kailangan i-comply, before ko po magamit yung account ko, para po mag-money transfer, kasi nagbebenta po ako ng tickets for my show sa April. Opo.
Po sa ticket selling nyo, if it's so bad, I think wala naman po magiging problema kasi kung magde-deposit sila from other branches namin dito within the Philippines, ay okay lang naman po. Wala naman sila.
Charge po.
Ang kailangan lang nila is yung account number at account name niya po.
Magkano po ma'am ang charge?
Wala pong charge, ma'am.
Yay! Sige pa. Ma'am, salamat!
Sige po. Thank you po. Okay po.
Bye! Bye. So, yun, bale, pinapa-advance, mabuti na rin po, di ba? Like, yung interbranch, for example, it's not meant to compare, but talaga kanya-kanya na regulation. For other bank, may charge sila na 50 pesos na dapat aware yung magdi-deposit. But sa Wealth Bank, as I intend to sell tickets digitally generated muna or physical ticket na ipapadala, the proceeds or the payment for the tickets, hopefully, di ba, mapadaan ko sa Wealth Bank. Tapos yun na rin yung advisory na since pinapasulat lahat ng bank accounts for my interview sa US Embassy on the 10th of March, yun. So, hindi, FYI ka lang. This is yours truly, Clarice.
I wish that was the case for the offset was completely done, but deliveries had had an uptick and does not fill the gap in transport. So looking ahead though, I know that transport is a mass market essential service.
So I want to include this clip because probably tomorrow I'll be done with a letter containing my curriculum vitae and a specific answer to the legal letter that I have received November, December. So only now only now have I finished the papers, the supporting papers that will corroborate the summary of the status that I have. So, without further ado, let's all listen to Mr. Anthony Tan, who will receive my letter with my curriculum vitae that had been validated through the years. And you know me, I will not put on paper, a summary of something which I will not be able to substantiate upon questioning. There's always bound to be, a challenge to the things that I have put out there. And yes, front and center is the data privacy, the confidentiality, and the proper interpretation of what has already transpired. So in light of that, please let's all listen to the soundbite. This was the latest. Actually, I don't know if it's the latest, but this for me, this was the latest soundbite that I was able to watch before the lockdown. So it was in 2020. The interview was done about the coming pandemic by Mr. Anthony Tan, CEO Grab. And yes, it's 1:34 p.m. I had my lunch. Actually, since this morning, the leftovers from all the dine-outs, the eating outs, had given me some liberty in terms of time. I was not the one who's cooking my own lunch at this time. So if anybody will come in and will ask, in the background, please eat, or did you have your lunch? Because that's a Filipino way of our hi, how are you? How do you do? For us, it's kumain ka na ba? Have you eaten? It's centered around the coziness of kitchen and food, how it makes us feel better and healthy, practical. So when a Filipino say kumusta, and it's around mealtime, noon, breakfast or dinner, and you get to hear kumain ka na ba, it's just mean that, it's a pleasantry. It's almost the same as how do you do.
Well, I think we're very blessed because we have a lot of
CNBC exclusive.
What we are seeing globally, if you ask me, how do I think about
It says here,
how
TAN expects demand for transport to recover strongly.
the 12-month recession, some are saying that 6 months. Because of our strong investor base, we are fortunate to have full liquidity. Tide is true, whether it's a 12-month recession or 36-month recession.
Okay.
So he was asked actually about the cash standing, the liquidity, the assets going into the lockdown, going into the severe and crippling effect of COVID-19 pandemic. One of the industries where it's bound to take a hit is, the transport. With the lockdown, with the clamp on the mobility of people and the prevention of transmission in the community, Grab would be affected. Probably this will be, until further notice, this will be the last time that I will be mentioning it actually, because this is in response actually to the letter that I have received. And the keen interest that I had for keeping this video clip. For someone like me who is a served work tenant for so long, and from research and from listening to interviews such as this, I was able to find out that one of the supporters and financiers, fund source of Grab was SoftBank, which is also the financier of another business, which which is competing for the similar service that a ServCorp is offering to businesses such as myself. So before I proceed, I just want to give a brief backgrounder of where I am with regards Grab. Okay, so some helpful backgrounder why some allegations would render it so ridiculous. Okay, let's start with the terminology unicorn company. It says here, in previous generation of our fathers and grandfathers, they will not know about unicorn, and I'm not sure whether down the line they would kind of predict the rise of the unicorn. For us, diba, it's a mythical creature. Holy. Diba? So in business, a unicorn is a privately held startup company valued at over $1 billion. The term was coined in 2013 by venture capitalist Eileen Lee, choosing the mythical animal to represent the statistical rare of such successful ventures. Decacorn is a word used for those companies over $10 billion, which hectocorn is used for such a company valued over so on and so forth. It's going to get so dizzying, so let's stop there. Also in here, a decacorn is a startup company which has a current valuation of over $10 billion. So for me, it speaks volumes. This definition speaks volumes. When you say a startup, it's from ground zero, right? And for them to reach the $10 billion, there's the story, the substance, the meat of the story. So it may just be a one-sentence description. A decacorn is a startup company which has a current valuation of over $10 billion. I can make my story and I could make an article, a series of articles based on that one sentence. A startup means it's just, how I was attending summit and meet other startup who would pitch their work, their innovation to capitalists. So you can imagine what a startup is. And then it's on the at the end of the statement, the sentence, it says $10 billion, not 10 billion pesos, not $10 billion. So the first phrase and the last phrase of the sentence, it speaks volumes, right? And I will never, ever, ever, get in the way of that first sentence, first word and the last word. This Clarissa talaga, residing in a provincial city in the Philippines, Republic of the Philippines, receiving a demand letter from Grab. And when in fact my point of interest in all these comes from this one-liner, one sentence. A decacorn is a startup company which has a current valuation of over $10 billion. Wow, diba? So from the first word of this sentence to the last, there goes the meat of the story. From Jackie Lee Garcia, my daughter, mamalabas mo. Baka masira lettuce. Yes. And so with that kind of facts, the only way that I will be able, should I want to, inject myself into their story would be to get to know the people and to, start from the entry level of how I could also use their platform for my own kind of business. But as it turned out, the special circumstances that I have did not allow for the ordinary application and ordinary, the standard way of getting into the platform of Grab. So I had used the proven way that enabled me to reach this far so that I could have a direct communication where the original and authenticated credentials and documents can be transmitted. So that was the only way that I would even want to inject myself into their story. Going back to what I said earlier, I have rented a space from Servcorp, which is an Australian company. Ang headquarters nila ay sa Australia, and it's in the same line of services being offered by WeWork. And the co-founder was Adam Newman, which according to last January 3rd, 2021, it says here, WeWork, SoftBank settle lawsuit over botched stock deal. WeWork and SoftBank have settled a lawsuit over a 2020 stock deal that fell apart in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Yes, one of the hardest hit industry is in the office sharing. I would know because for like me had the business not gone south, I would have continued renting a space because by this time I would have the countermeasure to deal with technical problems that I had would have been sorted out. That's how much I was hopeful and confident of the work that I'm doing, for me to take a risk and invest in office sharing in Metro Manila because I come from the province, and if I would rent the whole thing, staff, the whole office, maintenance, utility, that will defeat the purpose of making good a startup.
Spoken to Masayoshi-san during this crisis.
Masayoshi-san of SoftBank.
Spoken to Masayoshi-san during this crisis.
Yeah, Masa and I are in constant communication. I think SoftBank has been a very strong supporter. They've been a long-standing strategic investor to us. We are very grateful for their support. What I believe is their continuous support continues to reflect their ability in their belief about Southeast Asia and their belief in Grab's long-term prospects.
You yourself obviously are a shareholder as a co-founder in the company, and I'm curious whether you have sold any of your shares in the secondary market to date, or whether you've used any shares as collateral in any instance.
Fortunately, I'm going long. In fact, recently, when even if there was any small secondaries, I actually buy. So I'm a buyer, not a seller.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC.
So he said, Anthony Tan said, I am not a seller, I am a buyer. And Masayoshi-san is one of the staunchest supporter and financial sources that made Grab as one of the decacorn companies at this time because of its current valuation. But when was this? In an article last January 25th, 2019, it says here, the era of decacorn companies. The top 10 decacorn companies as of January 2019 comprise ByteDance, Uber, Didi Xing, WeWork, Lou.com, Airbnb, SpaceX, Palantir Technologies, Stripe, and JUL Labs. with the rise of consumer technologies able to have worldwide traction. Unicorn, no. So Grab was not there yet, but down the road, I don't know when it had become valuated, diba, into the Hall of Famer, the Decahorn Hall of Fame. So with that kind of statistics and with my own records, there should be a connecting point to sort out where the misconceptions and misinterpretations are coming from.
Tuloy, bilisan mo ang takbo. Ilaban ng mga bombang nakatutok sa ulo mo. Toto'y tumalong ka, tumapa kung kailangan, at baka tamaan pa ang mga balang ligaw.
It's really a hot Thursday afternoon. So, if you work from home, this is one of the advantages. You get to wear cooler clothes.
Consider for a moment the realities of our time. It's the last 2+ years of our president, Rodrigo Duterte. He hails from Mindanao. Was he elected due to some freak accident because his reputation precedes him at that time? A mayor of a city so far from the central government in Manila who has become a president. That's quite a fantasy. Hindi makatotohanan, pero naging totoo at naging makatotohanan. I can hazard an explanation. Desperation. The number would support it. After all that's been said and done, we in Luzon elected him. Some will say for the better, some will say for the worse. Regardless, the concerns by our brothers and sisters in the south of the Philippines is that there might not be another chance for their cause to be heard by the rest of the Filipinos, especially in the north, and most especially in tightly squeezed, highly pressurized situation in Metro Manila, now and after President Duterte's term of office. Understandable how combustible and flammable the situation can be as viewed from the top. Desperation. We can give his administration the benefit of the doubt in matters of national interest and national security, as we don't have the personal information and data that they have. Elsewhere, what we know so far is that one region cannot boast or cannot be shamed about the monopoly in sending Filipino workers abroad. It's individualized economic decision made by a Filipino family because basically they need the income it will provide for them. And that's not a sole predicament of Mindanao. Luzon and Visayas share that problem. I have these in mind when first I had submitted the details of my proposition to the Office of DOTR, or the Department of Transportation, Secretary Arthur Togade, and then the Department of Interior and Local Government, the DILG. They have the most direct connectivity with the grassroots of the Filipino citizens, even to the nook and cranny of the archipelago, without exemption, in a linear fashion. It is this premise wherein cooperation is expected and will be demanded. A balanced view can only be achieved if there are sources of information and concerns translated in the language, in the ways and means that our lawmakers can understand and heed. At the risk of allegations of heavy-handed power play, when the prerogatives of the executive are opted to bring about a free flowing of cooperation, participation, objection, appeals, and decisions from all answers forwarded in an orderly manner, the last 2 years are bound to be significant. And who would not want to be part of it? Who would not want to get involved and somehow make a difference? Hello, my name is Clarice, and I've begun working to be part of Grab Holdings Incorporated, operating in Southeast Asia. I've started to work on how I could be part of it, part of the whole organization, since before we took a trip to Hong Kong, March of this year, 2019. Our neighboring countries where we don't need to get a visa to visit, well, I was most curious whether by this time we still share lots of common things with our neighbors. ASEAN, remember? And then I realized there are some differences also, like they can make a mixed cultures work in harmony in most parts of their country. Of course, I am not expecting a paradise or utopia, workable, livable, and that got me thinking that
Toto'y makinig ka, huwag kang magpagabi. Huwag kang mapagkamalang humandusay dyan sa tabi. Toto'y alam mo ba kung ano ang punot dulo nang di matapos-tapos na kaguluhang ito? Hindi pula't dilaw tunay na magkalapang, ang kulay at tatak ay di siyang dahilan. Hanggat marami ang lubog sa kahirapan, at ang hustisya ay para lang sa mayaman. Habang may katsulong at silang nasa totoo, di matatapos ang gulo. Ibigtas ang hiniwan kay aming mga tao. Ang dating munting bukid ngayon sumenteryo. Toto'y kumilos na palitan ang katsulong, tulad ng dugha na ilagay mo. Totoo, hindi pula't dilaw tunay na magkalaban, ang kulay at tatak ay di siyang dahilan. Hanggat marami ang lugmok sa kahirapan, at ang hustisya ay para lang sa mayaman.